SpongeBob SquarePants Mysteries, Ooze in the Ocean. Chapter 2. The minute I heard the word mysterious, I could only think of one thing. A mystery! A mystery for me to solve as SpongeBob SquarePants detective! I felt as excited as a squirrel in a barrel of nuts. But before I got too excited, I needed to know more. Maybe these green trails weren't mysterious at all. Maybe somebody just spilled a bottle of kelp juice. I needed to keep my cool, not get too worked up. Private eyes don't jump around shouting, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Fry cooks, yes. Detectives, no. I took a couple of deep breaths, and in no time, I was cool as an ice cream cone at the North Pole. I decided to get right to work solving this mystery. SpongeBob walked over to Roy. What do you mean it's happened again, Roy? He asked, grabbing Patrick's notebook, turning a page in it, and grabbing a pen from a surprised Miss Halibut. This isn't the first time mysterious green trails have appeared in the sand around the rest home? Roy's beard whipped back and forth as he shook his head. No, sir, not the first time. Not by a long shot. Why, lately, it seems like slimy green trails have been popping up just about every morning. Morning, eh? SpongeBob mused, scribbling in his notepad. So it seems as though whoever's leaving these tracks has been coming around at night. Exactly, Roy yelped. And anyone who's skulking around in the night is up to no good. No good at all. He shook his cane angrily. Merman Man looked confused. Is the party over? Can I go back to bed? Miss Halibut tried to regain control of her special event. Thank you, Roy, she said, for that update. Now, who else has a question for I'll tell you who's been leaving these slimy green trails at night, a female resident bellowed, thumping into the room and shaking her fist. Her name was Thelma, and when she had an opinion, she was always eager to share it. Loudly. Who? SpongeBob asked eagerly. Yeah, who? Patrick asked, not really understanding what was going on, but wanting to support his best friend. Aliens, that's who! Thelma said, nodding with a satisfied look on her face. From outer space, and not friendly aliens either, the mean kind. Ridiculous! Roy disagreed. Aliens didn't leave those trails, no way! Then who did? Thelma challenged. Isn't it obvious? Roy asked. Mutant mold monsters! Roy and Thelma started arguing about who had left the mysterious green trails in the sand just behind the Shady Shoals rest home. Soon they were surrounded by a crowd of upset residents, all bickering about the strange tracks in the sand. Everyone had their own ideas about who had left the weird green markings. Raising her fins, Miss Halibut shouted, Quiet, please! Everyone calm down! The residents stopped shouting at each other, turning to look at the manager. There's no reason to get all worked up over a little green sand. Thelma took a step toward the platform where Miss Halibut stood. Oh, yeah? Well, if you don't think this is worth worrying about, maybe I'll just have to move to Leisure Village. What? Miss Halibut cried, alarmed. Or Las Vegas, Roy yelled. I hear good things about New Kelp City, another resident suggested. The residents all began talking at once again, coming up with names of different undersea spots for seniors to live in. But, if so many of you move out, Miss Halibut protested, Shady Shoals Rest Home will have to close. Oh, boo-hoo, Thelma said sarcastically. Maybe y'all should have thought of that before you let the aliens invade. An adult male fish stepped out of the crowd of fans watching this argument. Sounds as though I better take a look. Miss Halibut turned to him. Why? Who are you anyway? He put on a hat that made him look more official. Health inspector, he said. That's who. Is this a surprise inspection? Miss Halibut demanded. Is that why you're here? lurking among the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy fans instead of announcing yourself right away? No, I'm here because I am a Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy fan, he said proudly. Wait here. He left the room to go outside. Everyone rushed to the windows to see what he was doing out there. They saw him lean over and peer at the sand, and he headed back inside. Everyone hurried away from the windows, trying to look casual. The inspector got right to the point. I'm shutting you down. That green ooze could be toxic for all we know. Or perfectly harmless, Miss Halibut argued. We won't know until we've investigated. Can you give us time to check the problem out before you shut us down? She gestured toward Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. For the sake of your heroes? The inspector hesitated. He looked at all the residents of the home. There was a moment of silence with all eyes watching him and awaiting his decision. I'll give you 1 week, he stated. But you'd better start addressing this problem immediately. Who knows what hideous danger that ooze could present? Especially now that it's shown up around here more than once. He looked around. So who's going to undertake this investigation? SpongeBob stepped forward. Excuse me, Miss Halibut, but you've got someone right here who'd be happy to investigate this mystery for you. Miss Halibut's face brightened. You're right! Why didn't I think of it before? SpongeBob beamed. He figured his reputation as a fine detective must have spread all over Bikini Bottom after he solved the case of the missing star. Now, he said with an air of professional authority, the first thing, but Miss Halibut wasn't listening. She turned to Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. We have 2 crime fighters right here. You'll crack this case for us, won't you? When the 2 elderly superheroes didn't respond right away, Mermaid Man was starting to nod off, enjoying what he felt was a well-deserved nap. The manager turned to the crowd of fans and said, You fans would like to see Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy investigate this mystery, wouldn't you? The fans all cheered, clapped, and whistled, thrilled at the idea of seeing their heroes back in action. Yay, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy! One little girl cheered. If they can't solve the case, nobody can! Miss Halibut leaned down close to Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, putting her face right between theirs. So what do you think? What do I think? Mermaid Man asked. Oh, lots of things, like, should I take a nap? And is it time for lunch? And do I have my slippers on backward? He peered down at his fuzzy pink slippers. Nope, they look just right. Hooray! I mean, Miss Halibut clarified, trying to stay patient. What do you think about checking out the green trails in the sand? Barnacle Boy shook his head. The answer's no. We're retired, remember? We don't do that kind of thing anymore. It takes way too much energy. Plus, it's dangerous. We've got fragile bones. One false step and snap. He slowly and carefully started to stand up. Now, if you'll excuse us, we're late for breakfast. But if you don't solve the case, the other residents will move out, and Shady Shoals Rest Home will have to close, the manager pleaded. You won't have a place to live, and I won't have a job. Barnacle Boy shrugged. We'll find another place to live. I heard Tranquil Tides has bingo 2 nights a week. You'll just have to get someone else to investigate. Who? Miss Halibut asked. SpongeBob stepped forward and cleared his throat. Ahem. I'd be happy to take on the case. Miss Halibut looked him up and down. She saw only a little yellow sponge in a white shirt, red tie, shiny black shoes, striped socks, and square brown pants, and she wasn't impressed. And who might you be? Smiling a sly little smile, SpongeBob said, I'm the guy who solved the case of the missing star. What missing star? The manager asked, confused. This missing star, SpongeBob explained, pulling Patrick up next to him. Patrick Star! He's not missing, Mermaid Man pointed out. He's right there. I see him. Case closed. We've done it again. Yay us! Patrick was missing, SpongeBob explained patiently, until I used my detective skills to find him. That sounds good enough to me, Barnacle Boy said, helping Mermaid Man to his feet. Eager to avoid taking on a dangerous case, he turned to Miss Halibut. Looks like you've got yourself an experienced investigator. As the two elderly superheroes headed out of the room, Mermaid Man turned back and waved to SpongeBob. Good luck, detective! Save our home! I don't need 2 nights of bingo! Thanks, Barnacle Boy! I'll do my best! SpongeBob exclaimed happily. SpongeBob felt great pride but also a huge amount of pressure. These were his heroes, and they needed his help. He vowed to solve this case, his second, and possibly the most important of his career. Come on, Patrick! I've got a case to crack! He ran out of the room, followed by Patrick. Roy watched him go and turned to Miss Halibut. So that little guy is going to investigate the mysterious green ooze? Miss Halibut smiled a big smile, trying to look confident. Why, yes, he is. I'm sure he'll have his pesky little matter resolved in no time at all. There's certainly no need for anyone to think about moving. Roy exchanged a skeptical look with Thelma. I'll pack my things, he announced. Me too, Thelma said. They both headed out of the room, grumbling. Several other residents followed them, determined to pack up their belongings and leave before anything even scarier happened. The health inspector followed the residents out of the room. Just before he left, he turned back and snapped, 1 week! Wait! Miss Halibut called, hurrying after the departing residents. Don't go! Oh, please come back! This is your home! And my job! Hey! What about the avalanche of autographs? The kid dressed as Mermaid Man asked, waving his pencil and pad of paper. To Patrick's surprise, once they were outside, SpongeBob ran back toward his house. SpongeBob! Patrick called after him. Aren't you going to investigate the crime scene? They said the green shells were behind the rest home. Don't jump to conclusions, Patrick! SpongeBob yelled back over his shoulder. We don't know for sure yet if there's been a crime, though I've got a strong hunch there has. Anyway, before I go work on this case, I gotta put on my detective outfit. It's the only way a real detective can work. And I need to notify my partner, Squidward. Oh, your partner, Patrick said, following behind as SpongeBob sprinted home. I see. Soon SpongeBob reached his pineapple home. He ran inside, tore upstairs, and dug his old trench coat, blazer, and brown fedora out of the big sea chest in his bedroom. After changing into them, he checked himself out in the mirror. He smiled a knowing, wry grin. Look out, criminals at Bikini Bottom, he told his reflection. Private Detective SpongeBob SquarePants is back in town! Patrick was waiting outside when he saw SpongeBob come out in his detective duds. You look very detective-y. Thanks, Pally, SpongeBob said in his tough private eye voice. And now to put my partner wise to this latest caper. Huh? Patrick asked, confused. I thought you were going to notify Squidward. Exactamundo! SpongeBob confirmed, heading toward the stone tiki head house next door. Bam, 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 bam. He pounded on the front door. Squidward! He called. Wait until you hear what I've got to tell you. You're going to be thrilled. Squidward opened the door. You're moving? Looking puzzled, SpongeBob said, No, of course not. Why would I move away from the 2 greatest neighbors in the ocean? Looking him up and down, Squidward asked, Why are you wearing that get-up? SpongeBob grinned. Isn't it obvious? We got another case. We? Squidward asked, frowning. What do you mean, we? I mean you and me, SpongeBob enthused. The greatest team of detectives Bikini Bottom has ever seen. There's no time to lose. Throw on your private eye outfit and follow me to the scene of the crime. Patrick, who was standing by listening, corrected, Technically, you don't know for sure if there's been a crime. SpongeBob shot Patrick a quick look of his index finger and made a clucking sound. You're right, Patrick, he said. Good catch. You think I'm going to run all over town with you chasing some dangerous maniac? Or worse yet, get chased by some dangerous maniac? Into a den of thieves? Or a cave full of monsters? Squidward scoffed. Not to mention missing my dance classes? And my gourmet cooking? And my painting? Forget it. Nothing doing. I'm not going through all that again. Wham! He slammed his door right in SpongeBob's face. Stay tuned for Chapter 3 coming up soon.